back with
real
another video.
Lou and Mo
bitch.
podcast. I told you, bro. Chop the top.
Look at that shit. It looks good, bro.
Shiny head, boy.
Damn.
What? Fuck it. Let's go.
So we got topics on top of topics today. But the first topic, we don't know what we were going to talk about. And I was like, I want to talk about some real shit. He's like, we mean real shit.
That's all I can spit is real shit,
bro.
That's
so I thought we'd just like give it a chance to just riff on some shit. And earlier this week, I got into an argument with a good friend of mine. I'm not going to say name on this one.
Chris Bonnet.
Go
ahead.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
So and the conversation it turned into an argument because every single year, and this is going on for like 5 years, bro. He tells me he's going to get a different job. He's going to change his career. He's going to do something different. And he never does. He's a procrastinator, but he's got a lot going on. Like he's got a kid, autism at home, so that's a stressful life. I know how that is with my daughter. He's got and his, he's with my cousin, stuff like that. So it's a tough life, and I get it. Life is tough, but
death gotta be easy because life is hard. It'll leave you mentally and physically and emotionally scarred.
So, but the argument gets into play when I'm just like, man, that's all your fault. Those are all your decisions that you make. You make the decisions. You made the choices to do what you wanted to do. And instead of you making the choice to stick to your guns on something, you decided, I'm just going to stick myself in this life that I'm not happy in and stay miserable. So like slowly but surely, I'm seeing like the dude I used to know turn into a dude that I don't know anymore. He's becoming more drawn out. Now, it doesn't change the fact that I'm not going to be there for him, and I don't care, and I want to make sure he's okay and let him vent about his life. But at what point do I come and finally, after 5 years, go, you know what, bro? This is you. You did it. How do you fix what you did? You made the bed. Now you got to lay in the bed, or you got to fucking make the bed. How are you going to fix the situation that you're in? And the frustration that I have is what I tend to do is I tend to talk about me as an example, and it turns into the argument because I'm talking about me again. Now I sound like I got it all together and I know everything and I'm super smart and I've done everything right. I don't want anybody to get it twisted. I have to make sure I put this out there right now. When I think about the amount of money I make, and the amount of success that I've had so far, that doesn't necessarily mean that my mindset isn't on how do I make $500 million a year, $250,000 a year. My goal's there. That's what I want to have. So I'm nowhere near it. When I look at these, the houses that I like or that I want, when I look at the cars that I want, when I look at the things that I want, they're way bigger. It looks completely unobtainable, right? But from what I came from and what I have now, that looked, when I was younger, this life I have living right now looked unobtainable. So knowing me from the beginning, especially with Chris, like knowing me from when I was young to now, he just says like, I know who you really are. Don't act like you're some hot big shot. Because it comes off arrogant, comes off cocky, comes off pompous, right? He always goes like, I'm Louis and I know. Which it's true. I see that in myself as a flaw, somewhat of a flaw, but I'm only trying to explain to him in a situation of using me and not using somebody else, pretending like I know their situation. So it always comes off kind of like weird. But he knows I came from broke. He knows I came from shit. And I moved out of my parents' house and I fucking just figured some things out. And I had to learn on my own and make mistakes along the way. But it was my job to fix the mistakes and not blame anybody else for sticking me in a specific position. Not blame my wife, not blame my family's position and what they've done. I gotta look at it as I was given a fucking gift, just like Chris was given a gift. My cousin is a gift. His son is a gift. They always say God never gave you anything that you couldn't handle. That's the reason why they chose you to have this situation. But it's up to you to create to turn that thing that you look at as a curse into a gift. It's all gifts. Just being alive is a gift. But it's all depending on how you look at it. And you got to kind of change your mentality from a negative and miserable. Misery loves fucking company, by the way. I'm not the guy other person, especially if it's a close friend of mine who's miserable, I try to amp up the happy, or I try to amp up the positivity, and maybe I sound a little bit like a damn like I'm trying to do a damn speech and shit, but I'm not trying to. I'm just trying to find a way to help you out of the situation. So for the argument, I apologize for the argument, but I can't apologize for me trying to give him the truth, and people don't want to see the truth. Yeah. When I would give my shit to him, and I would explain it, and he would like, man, why are you crying so much? Oh my God, stop crying.
Kawasaki Lou.
Yeah, and then he would bring me back to the reality of, here's the reality of your situation. Change the way you think, change the way you live, and let's try to do, like, for somebody to tell me, especially Moses, for him to tell me, you already know what to do. You're just procrastinating on what to do because you're lazy, bro. You're being lazy. Have you done everything you possibly can to fix your situation? And if I said yes, he'd be like, Lou, dog, you did everything?
Nobody can do everything.
Nobody does everything. Yeah. And I'm like, you right, bro.
You attempt, you can try.
That's the thing. It's the subconscious and the conscious effort that I put into trying to become what I've become so far. I'm not finished yet, but it's what I decided to do. Like we were just talking about, I have this thing, this charismatic thing, or the way I say things with words that a lot of people don't have, but that doesn't make me special. I just put a lot of focus on this one thing and recognized that I had that, and then was like, let me use that for a platform like a podcast and help people. I help a lot of people. I've been doing it since we met. I've been trying to help as many people as I possibly can. Because just because I'm here doesn't mean that I'm fucking some piece of shit guy. Not that I give a shit what most people think, but it doesn't mean I'm just some guy just like, I don't want you guys. I want everybody to fucking win, especially if I give a shit about you. And
it's not gonna hurt for other people to win.
Yeah, and the amount of people that are around me that I want to win, that I care about, that I keep my circle real tight, real small and real tight, and I want everybody to fucking win. So I never try to come at a conversation or an argument in a shitty way. I just try to come at it in, especially if it's a friend of mine or a family member, in a way of, how can I fucking help you? And I can't always just, I can't treat you like my wife. My wife is special. My wife, she doesn't want my help. It's the nail in the head thing, right? The lady has a nail in her head. She looks at her husband. She's like, I have a headache. He tries to remove the nail from the head. She's like, don't touch my head. You don't even listen to me. You're not even being here for me. And he's like, but it would be better if you just remove the fucking nail out of your head. And she's like, don't touch. She's like, you're not here. You're just trying to solve all these problems. They don't want you to solve the problem. She just wants the fucking nail.
That's what a lot of people
in her head.
Too. And a lot of people want to keep the nail in the head. So
100%. That's just people. It's a human thing.
But it's in my nature as a man, I guess I would say more, to try to solve a problem.
100%.
So when people come at me with problems that are like, most of them are out of their control, a lot of them are just made up shit, and it's like, at the end of the day, it's like, this conversation really has no like ending. So there's no like conversation we're going to get to that is a solution at the end of the day, and it kind of gets like, it gets redundant after a while. Like, people know, like, come to me. A lot of people like to talk to me and tell me about stuff, but after a while, it's like, it become an ask hole where you just keep asking. We talk about it, and it's like, and some things aren't solvable, right? And it's like, I don't know. I come to terms with that too. So then I really like something that you could solve, right? Especially if it's with somebody else, a relationship, somebody, family member. Sometimes you can't solve them. Sometimes they're like, you could give advice till you turn blue to the end of time.
It shit don't matter.
They might still end up doing the same shit back to back. So I don't know. I
and as a friend too, like, these are still things I'm trying to figure out. Like, as a friend, when do I listen, and when do I just be there, and when do I actually give advice? Because the thing is, like, even in the argument that we had, he could have easily said, like, I didn't ask you to help me. I didn't ask you to give me advice. I asked you to listen to me and be here for me. I just needed somebody to like vent to and just kind of like let me at least get it off my chest so that I have a moment to figure out, which I typically don't mind it. I don't care, whatever. And I try to make it so it's a flowable, easy conversation. But again, we were just talking about surface level shit, and I'm not that way. I can't just stick on that surface level shit and let anybody get away with it. And if you want to get away with it, then don't talk to me. I'm not trying to talk to you. I don't give a fuck what you think. I really don't. I don't care what. I don't want to talk about sports. I want to talk about nonsense. I'm done with nonsense. I'm too old for nonsense, bro. I want to have a conversation about some real shit and help help each other along the way. I think about it this way: I like people in my life who are adding to my life, we're raising each other up, right? We're helping each other to the next level together. We're moving. The relationship is a builder. Like I want to, like realistically, I want to have people around me where I'm important in their fucking life. Like I'm actually an important person in their life, and they're an important person in my life. I don't want to be the person that you just dump your shit on like I'm a fucking dumpster, and then you're out, and you're like, and then I go, oh yeah, about me. I just wanted to tell you, last week I went through, and they were like, click, boo, and hang up the phone, or they don't want to hear what the fuck's going on with me. They didn't even fucking ask me what's going on with me. They want me to listen to their bullshit, and they want to ear rape the shit out of me, and then they want to move on to the rest of their day. That's not cup filling on both ends.
It's like when they say about the bank accounts.
Yeah, it's deposit
withdrawing a lot more from me. Like everybody got a lot of shit going on, so after a while it's like, bro, you can only withdraw so much. You ain't deposit shit. So you drawing out of zero.
Yeah, bro.
This getting redundant. Like I'm like, listen, bro, I'm already exhausted. Life is hard,
enough. Life is enough.
And you sitting here making it worse. I gotta hear your shit too. So it's like after a while, it's like certain times I just don't reply sometimes, especially if it's somebody that's not in my life as much, because I get a lot from people, just random people.
Yeah.
And if it's not in my life, I just listen and I be like, want to say a lot of shit. A lot of shit, but it's like, let me just be quiet, because at the end of the day, it's not gonna do anything most of the time.
No, bro.
I think it's a waste of my air.
I still give it an effort to
Sometimes
try.
the arguments are gonna be like,
it's crazy.
Feedback is gonna be bad. I try to do when it's something that I can give like a specific point, then I do. Even with older people that's older than me, it's like, but after a while, it's like I'm not gonna hear this every day.
It's like a hard head makes a soft ass, bro.
Hard head makes a soft ass, boy.
I'm beating a fucking dead horse, or I'm trying to motivate. Like, okay, I don't want people around me to think that I'm judgy. But do what you want to do. I don't care. Whatever. Whether you win or whether you lose, I prefer you to win. That's all. And I just try to go, okay, well, I prefer you to win. So here's a couple things I learned throughout my fucking journey. And again, I don't know it all. I figured a couple things out. I'm still learning a lot of different shit. And maybe I was wrong as a friend to even commit to advice at all. But at one point I was just like, oh my God, dude, we're here again? Good morning, by the way. Here we fucking go again. And trying to figure out how to be a good friend sometimes is like, oh, do I just shut my mouth or do I fucking say something? Well, that could happen with family too, but I'm not one to shut the fuck up sometimes.
And like most time, like I think about it. I think about like my advice or whatever, and I'm like, I'm not trying to sell you anything.
No.
Like I have no benefit from you gaining or losing. Really, at the end of the day, so really, I could give two shits half the time.
Yeah.
Even if it's somebody close, like at the end of the day, I have nothing to gain. I have nothing to lose. Right? From you, I got more. Like if I'm giving advice to my son, I have something to gain or something to lose.
Yeah,
or my wife.
Yeah.
But outside of that, it's really I don't gain or lose anything. I just try to give it from a point of like, I think I might have something that could help you.
Yeah.
Right. I think I might have something that could help you. So let me give you that advice. Let me tell you what I think about this situation. Like this is what I've seen or looked at or experienced in that situation.
Yeah.
And that's what I give you.
That's all I can give you the first hand on what I've been through.
But at the end of the day, like, you know, that's all I could do. Yeah. Like it might not be the answer, it might not be the super correct answer. But usually if I'm gonna give advice, it's from something that I've looked into or tried to see different points of view on.
Yeah.
I
play devil's advocate.
Yeah, I'm at a point where I'm like, I question myself on a lot of things.
Yeah.
Like I tell you, like one thing that, you know, this is all kind of upsetting, but like, you know, my dad passed away a while back, probably like, I don't even know, to be honest with you, like 5 years ago or something like that. And I was in Vegas. I got the call. My dad, you know, he was police found him underneath a tree. He just died underneath the tree. I don't know how that even happened. I never seen the autopsy. I don't know what happened. But anyways, but I was just thinking about his life, right? And this is a story to tell you how I think about certain things, right? I was thinking about his life, right? And you know, he was in and out of our lives with my mom sometimes, with me around me sometimes. And, you know, he didn't have meaningful friendships or people that he was around as he got older, right? Maybe, even when he was younger, like I don't remember a lot of people that he knew that were like ride or die people or friends or even the family members he would escape from.
Yeah.
Right? Even his brothers, most of them were dying at the time, which was crazy. Like I said, he had 13 brothers and sisters. I think like 10 of them died within a 10-year time frame. I remember going to funerals. And he never made meaningful friendships. He had my mom who was like ride or die, right? To the end, right? To the wheels fall off type of thing. They weren't even married. But she was a rider, right? My mom was a ride or die. So, but then I think about now, I'm like, damn, he's in the grave somewhere, right? He died that day, probably with somebody from the halfway house or something. I try to reach out to him a lot, so I don't have any regrets about that. Like I reached out a lot. I provided him for Thanksgiving dinner, provided him for Christmas dinner, brought him around his grandson a lot. Tried to. My son doesn't even remember him. But anyway, so my whole point is like, I look at that situation and I try to gain something and understand something from these situations in my life like that. And like he died, he doesn't have anybody for his memory. His memory is gone.
Yeah.
Like the only person that can say anything about him is me.
Yeah.
Right? And the only other person is probably my mom. But he has no other meaningful friendships or relationships with anybody.
Right.
Except from people from the halfway house, but they are all drug addicts and they might forget them the next day too.
Yeah.
Right? And I look at people, and this, this was just my path of this thought. Let's just not to get off the subject too far, but my path of this thought was I was thinking about a lot of people in my hood that died too, and like for the first 2 months, 5 months we have July 14th we're gonna celebrate this guy and we do a block party for him type of thing. But now that's 6-7 years. The only person that really cares about him at that time is his mom, is his kids, his mom if she's still alive, and the people that was really close to him.
Yeah.
Right? Not his homeboys on the block for the most part. They got other shit going on. They party and they doing shit. But that's the only person that's really gonna remember at the end of the day. And that goes back to my point of like, when I don't really gain from either way, because unless it's a meaningful relationship that I care about, sometimes it's like, what I mean? Like I said, when I die, the only person that's gonna really care is my son and my wife, right? Everybody will care when I die, but then afterwards that'll slowly go away. Right? Because your life's gonna go on, right? People are gonna have kids, you're gonna grow, you're gonna have grandkids, you're gonna be older, right? Unless I made an impact in your life at one point, then I just go along with the wind and be dust eventually. You know what I'm saying? So my point is like, that's how far I went into that thinking, because I was like, damn, I'm thinking about my dad. I'm like, damn, nobody's gonna remember him. Like I barely have pictures of him, and then I don't think anybody else, even all the people that in my family or on that side of the family, they were like, oh, my uncle, my cousins, whatever. They don't have any memories of him either, right? And they forgot about him too, because if they did, you would hear more about it. But he's forgotten.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's a sad story.
It is.
But he kind of made the choices to make that story sad.
Yeah.
Right? He could have interjected himself, and this kind of goes into what you were saying too, is about, you make the choices. Like you got yourself into it, but you can make it better, but you're not thinking that deeply.
Yeah.
And we talk about all the time, I don't think people think that deeply.
Yeah, bro.
Right? They don't get into like, because everything has consequences. All your choices have consequences. And my dad made a lot of choices, and he didn't care about the consequences.
Yeah, bro.
And now his life is, it's pretty much just up in the wind. Like he doesn't have any effect on anything.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't even know his grandson, right? His only grandson, right? That's the only one. He doesn't have any other kids that I know of, right? So it's like, it's kind of a sad story, but it's something that you can learn from, and that's what I'm saying about when we tell you, like, I give advice from shit that I've done or think about. It's not shit that I just come across and I'm like, this is the way I think, this is the way you should think, this is the best way to do it. If you don't do it this way, you fuck.
Yeah, no.
Right? We don't
This
come
is our
across
experience.
like that. We don't have conversations like that. We don't even. I definitely don't approach. I know Lou most times doesn't, or all the time doesn't approach it like that either. Like, if I'm gonna tell you something, it's something that I've experienced, or something that I've learned from somebody else that I know experienced it, or seen it, or whatever it is. And that's how deep we sometimes get into shit. And that sounds crazy, but like you just sitting there and you start thinking about, damn, my dad died, and then you start going down the path of shit. But you want to try to figure stuff out. Life is complicated as fuck.
He pulled, even in that unfortunate situation, you pulled something out of that situation.
Yeah.
Not all things are learned through just your experience too, even though it somewhat is. You're also learning from somebody else's experience, and what could I take out of this? What can I take out of this situation? Like, I want like I live a life of service. I help people all day. My job is that way. My life with my wife and my kid are that way. My life with a lot of people around me are that way. And I just try to add up the best I possibly can to them. And it's not just for myself and the memory of me later on down the road, which it most likely will. Those would be the people that would be like, look, bro, every time I fucking hung out with this dude, he was a good person to me. He was there for me. He cared about me. He helped me in these situations. And or if somebody was ever speaking to my daughter, if ever something, God forbid, ever happens to me, those stories will come up. Like, one time your dad, this time your dad. Those stories are happening in real time,
That's
in
when you
real
make
life.
Meaningful
Connections and like something that impacts somebody or really.
And that's why I don't want to give anybody bullshit. I want to give something that's going to help
That's
somebody.
really gonna help somebody.
I want to give somebody when they look at it like, damn, Mo always told me that, and I hear that a lot, and I'm proud of that. That I hear that, damn, Moses did say that, right? Or Moses, remember when you told me that, and then blah blah blah. Because it's like, but I'm not telling you for my own like advancement, because I'm good. Like,
Yeah,
I'm at
good.
a point in life where
I don't have to
I don't
do
even
any
give
of
a
it.
fuck.
I don't have to.
Excuse my language, but anybody thinks.
Yeah, I
that's
don't
why I
give a
went and
fuck.
bald my head.
I don't give a fuck.
Right? I've had hair 41 years of my life, right?
Gives a shit.
I went and bought it because, like, at the end of the day, I don't really give a fuck.
What people
Right?
think.
My wife said I look good. My son is okay with me.
And we're not just saying. There's the thing too. Like, we could say that, and it sounds like we don't mean it. Listen to me. We really don't give a fuck
Yeah, I don't give
about
a
what
shit.
people think about us. It's not about. We didn't get. If I give a fuck about what people thought about me, I would have never got to this level of where I'm at now.
But
and where
I
I'm
care
headed.
about people.
Yeah, but
So
I
there's a
care about
point.
people.
So it's not that I don't give a fuck. You guys can all go to hell type of shit. It's
Yeah,
like,
I don't care what you
I
think.
just don't give a fuck what you think about me, but I do want you to be
I want you
winning.
to be
I want
good.
you to succeed, especially to
Yeah,
you,
bro.
younger people. It saddens me to see some of it. So it's like, I do care, and my son's got to grow up in the world that I leave behind. So that's another big thing.
You want to know what
that
I
focus
wanted
on.
more than I didn't want to be a depressed person, and I didn't want to be a loser, and I didn't want to be I didn't know what I was going to go for, what I was going to do, but for sure, I wasn't going to put myself in a position. I have fucking standards, and I wasn't going to put myself in a position with a girl, or a life, or a job, or a career, or you name it, even friends, with a situation that I'm not going to be happy with, that I'm going to be miserable with. I grew up that way, and I was like, I'm never going to go back to doing that shit again. I'm not going to put somebody else's shit before my own, and my own happiness, and my own fun, and my own, this is my life experience, and I'm not going to trash it just because some douchebag thinks that their life is more important than mine. I want to help them make their lives better as I make my lives better. Maybe I'll be an example for my daughter or my brothers or whoever's out there listening, but more than that, we could run this ride together and just fucking lift each other up and make each other better than we were last year. That's where it's at. If somebody gives a fuck about you, they're gonna say something. You want to know who doesn't give a fuck about you? Somebody who says nothing and just listens.
And it's like, it goes back to when I was getting into a lot of conflict with different people, right? With the whole, it was COVID, Trump, all that shit. And it goes back to that, and people are like, why do you care? And I'm like, bro, I care because I'm a human. Like, I have compassion. I think about people, right? I think about what's going on. And then I got my son growing up in the same world, and I know young people, that's not their fault, right? That they grew up in a world like this, or they're being taught these different things that are going to affect them later. Like, they don't know.
Yeah, true.
Right? They haven't lived enough life to know, right? They don't really care about the consequences later because they're young. And when you're young, you don't give a fuck.
No.
Right? You do whatever you want to do because you don't think about tomorrow. You think you're going to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets, and that's one thing that I try to push, is that, I do really, dig into those things and try to just tell people, there's consequences for every action, and that you should think about them more. And hopefully my experience or my thought will help you to think about it. It's like some people always come to me about, or I talk to people and they, about buying a house, and this is just off the thing, but I'd be like, listen, you gotta really think about it. Like, are you gonna really use the house? Does it really fit your lifestyle? Is it something that you're gonna, be okay with for the next 15, 20 years that you gotta pay for it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is it worth it to put up that investment and buy it? Right? Because people have these ideas they hear on Instagram, they hear on TV, it's an investment, it's not an investment, you live in it, so it can't be an investment, right? You got to go through these things in your head. And I've been through them with other people, and I've been through them myself, right? We had a thing where at one point it was a house, and then I started to really think about it,
Do you really
and
need?
it doesn't really make sense for my family
What makes-
or my lifestyle. right? It's like I'm gonna have an extra 2 rooms that I'm never gonna use. I can build them into something, but I'm really not gonna use them.
Yeah.
Right? And I looked up a chart that shows people walking through a house and they only go through certain rooms, and there's 2 rooms they never touch.
Yeah.
So a square footage that's not being used that they're paying for.
Yeah, we see it every day.
So it's like,
Part of
yeah,
the
I go to
job.
houses all the time too, and they're like, half the houses are all torn apart and shit, right? They're like, one room they never use, right? A room that they never use,
It's a half a house they don't use.
right? They got a room with storage
Like,
in it,
you wanna
and it's like,
downgrade?
you got 4 bedrooms, use 2 of them,
You have 16 toilets. Why?
but you're paying fucking $3,000 a month.
You live here with one other person.
So these things, I'm giving you the path that goes down for me to come back to you and be like, listen, I think you just gotta really think about it. I'm not being a hater. I don't care if you go and buy a fucking
whatever you want.
mansion. At the end of the day, it goes back to the original thing I said. I don't really give a fuck, and it doesn't really bother me either way what
It
you
doesn't
do.
affect me either way.
But if I can give you some advice that can maybe help you,
Mhm.
then cool. If it doesn't,
And I
help
promise you, I
don't
won't even
take
come
it,
and be like,
don't
I
give a
told
fuck.
you. Is what I'm not gonna even do that. I just want to
No,
see
I'm
you
just
win.
gonna smile because most of the
Like,
time
dude.
I'm telling you because I've seen it. I know.
We've
Like
been
I've
through
done
all
it,
this shit.
right? I've seen it. I've seen,
We've
other,
seen
people.
other people.
I got other people that are above me, you know, that make more money than me,
Way,
or
yeah,
more
way above
successful, better family, all this stuff that I listen to. They
Yeah.
tell me.
Where do you
stuff
think we
and I
learned a
go.
lot of this shit from?
Yeah, and then I've seen people below me, and I've seen people that,
Yeah.
you know, financially or family wise, or just people that are, you know, what they've been through, and then they tell me, and I'm like, shit, I don't want to go through that.
Yeah. It's
I'm
lessons
telling you
we
so you don't
learn.
have to go through it.
Yeah, we can learn the lessons. We don't have to go through it
Yeah,
to
we don't have
learn
to
it.
go
But we just
through
gotta listen.
I listen.
I want to live a happy life more than I want to fucking breathe. More than
Yeah,
I want to
happiness
fucking
is
breathe.
amazing.
So I'll do whatever I possibly can do to make sure that that happens. And I'm not gonna allow any outside force fuck with that. But at the end of the day, I'm gonna do the best I possibly can every now and then, depending on who it is, to just help. And if it don't work, it don't work. But at least I tried. At least I gave it. At least I attempted. And maybe some people are slow learners. Maybe eventually they'll be like, "Damn, bro, Louis was saying that shit the whole damn time."
Life is hard, bro. Life is a struggle.
Yeah.
But it's okay. It's a good struggle. It's like testing your willpower.
Mhm.
Like, can you make it? And that's what it ends up being.
It's a pain in the ass.
Because then when you get older, I go to a lot of people, older people, they be like, if I'm here when you get back.
But that's some people to. That's what. That's what.
Yeah.
That's where you learn a lot of lessons from, especially somebody who's old,
Yeah,
because you
dead.
see
I'm like,
what
you
they've
gonna be
been.
alive, bro.
You see what they care about now that they're 80,
About to die.
and you're like, holy shit, they care
Yeah.
about family.
Yeah.
They care about having good conversation if they can.
Mhm.
They care about their fucking health. They start they're trying to do whatever they can fitness wise. You see them motherfuckers in the pool and shit, trying to swim and shit.
But the consequences have already taken
Yeah,
place.
it's already there. But what they're holding on to. They're not holding on to the nonsense. They're not holding on to the 18 bathrooms anymore. They're holding on to
Nah, they move out.
the most important things.
Most of the people be like trying to sell their house. at
yeah,
that
yeah,
time.
they're holding on to what's the most important things in life because they have to think about their death coming up soon.
But I'm telling you them now.
Yeah, we're
Like,
telling
these
you
are
that
the important
early.
things.
Talk to some old people, bro. If you don't want to listen to us, talk to some old people. You'll see what we're talking about.
I'm telling you that now, and that's where I get it from.
We see it every day.
Family, those things are important. Meaningful relationships are important.
Doesn't affect me
Uh,
either way when it comes to like whether you want to listen or you don't want to listen. It's up to you. Like we don't know everything, but we're just trying to give you a little heads up, motherfucker. This could be real easy. But life's gonna hard no matter what. But it's all depending on how you
look at
decide
it.
to look at it.
Yeah, I don't look at it as a tough thing.
No,
I know that life.
we
is
know
hard,
it though. Yeah, we know it is.
But I wake up in the morning, I go out, I see the sun, I see the air breathe, I see breeze hitting me, breathing in the air. It's like just for you to be breathing is like amazing, right? You breathe without even thinking.
But just me coming in,
It's
like I
pretty-
was thinking
it's
about this the
fucking
other day too. When I come into a situation, like at first when I started really like understanding life a little bit better, knowing that it was, no matter what is going to be a pain in the ass, I would get 2 steps, take 2 steps back, take 2 steps, take 2 steps back. So I started recognizing, you know what, if I take 2 steps and I build a support around it and a protection around what I built, then I can keep making another step and making another step and then support and protect, and I just kept moving forward more and more, little by very little, on the bullshit life that life is, and just made the best I possibly can to make sure at the end of this I keep a fucking smile on my damn face and not complain about everything.
Yeah, that's another one. Complaining shit.
Wham, motherfucker.
Kawasaki. You're like, oh, bro.
So just open your mind sometimes. Just know that people around you aren't always not on your side.
Take responsibility, take accountability.
Stay accountable.
There's
And move
a lot
forward.
of lessons, but take them one by one. Start with one, build it. It's just like when you're working out, you want to build certain muscles, you got to build those up.
Yeah.
And just that's how you live life. Doesn't make life.
You know what made me really mad?
What?
You know what he said to me? He said, "What, dude? You're saying some low-hanging fruit shit, bro. You're not even saying some real shit. You're saying some regular ass shit." I'm like, I don't know anybody you know that had ever told you any of the things I'm telling you right now, bro.
What does that even mean?
Because like as if I'm coming off as like a preacher, or like coming off as like somebody who's not really giving him, not telling him anything he doesn't already know. And maybe he's right.
Obviously you know it, but you're not using it.
You're not doing anything.
Now, everybody says they know that stuff. Everybody says they know, like, oh, I know that. It's like some people, I have conversations with people who believe in God, right? And I'm like, if you believe in God, then you shouldn't worry.
Yeah.
It makes no sense. They don't align with each other, right? They don't align because if you believe in the Word and you believe in God, then everything is already planned out for you, right? You believe in faith. Right? And then we say that's God's will, that's God's plan. Then you don't have to worry about anything. He gave you the point where you don't have to stress about it because it's already taken care of. It is what it is.
You know, yeah.
If he's calling you up, he's
determined.
calling you up. If he's not, he's not.
Yeah.
So then why worry? That's why I tell my, this is my in-laws and everything. I tell them all the time, like, why do you shouldn't worry. Mm-hmm. Stress will kill you. That's the problem. That's like the devil. Mm-hmm. Stress kills more people than anything, I think. Gets you hypertension, gets you like high. I think it helps with it. It helps build all that shit up for you.
Have you ever heard of the story of before we ended, have you ever heard the story of the guy who says, it's the story about the radish farmer. Farmer and his son, right? They plant radishes on the farm. That's what they're selling. Something comes in and takes out all the things that they're selling. They can't afford to live there anymore. And the son's like, what are we going to do? Like, we're screwed. We don't no idea what we're going to do now. We have nothing to sell. We're going to have to sell the place. And he's like, and he asks the dad, what do you think? And he's like, I don't know, son. I can't call it. And he's like, well, what the fuck? And then boom, a fucking horse comes. They take care of the horse. They bathe it. They clean it. Get a bad hoof. Something was wrong with him. They fixed him up and sent him on his way. That horse came back with 150 horses. Now they sell fucking horses. And they fix the horses, right? Then the son, while he's fixing the horses, the son goes, now we have a horse stable and we can sell the horses. And he's like, I don't know what this is, son. I can't call it. I have no idea what this is.
That's
crazy.
wise.
And then
wisdom.
And he goes, and then the son has the thing, whatever. He's playing with the horses and he breaks his fucking leg. And he's like, I broke my leg. Like, I'm the one who's doing it. You're too old. You're not really doing much work. And he goes, Dad, what do you think? And he's like, shit, your leg looks bad, bro. I don't know what to do with that shit. I don't do that shit at all. I can't call it. And he's like, fucking Dad, Jesus, right? So at the end of the story, it was really cool. The army comes because they are going to take over the entire land. It doesn't matter what the fuck they were doing to begin with. And this was the cool part of the story. The whole army's coming and they're going to torch and destroy fucking everything. So whoever's left over has their own army that are fighting for the people who live there, and they want to go out and they're like, can he come and help us? So he's like, no, he can't. He has a broken leg. He's like, damn. And he's like, okay, fine, just leave the son, whatever, you're too old to help us. And they go out and they all run out to their deaths. They all die. Mm-hmm. And he asks the dad, he's like, well, thank God I didn't go to that. What do you think about that? And he goes, I can't fucking call it. So you can't predict certain, it's already set,
bro.
It's already set.
If you don't get that story, that shit went over your head, you need to rewind it and listen again. Because that story has some jewels in it.
Deep ass meaning right there.
Those some jewels. Man, that's exactly what I'm talking about. It's like, I don't worry about that shit. It's too, you just leave it up, man. Not to say that you don't do stuff,
you can
right?
control what you can
I'm not
control.
saying go out there and live YOLO and drink till you die.
Control what you can
snort
control.
Cocaine and fuck women and whatever. I'm not saying that. I'm saying
live the life of the radish farmer.
Yeah, you figure the path that you want to go, start going down that path. As long as I think you're doing with a good positive mind and you're doing the good things, you're trying to things that are good for people, other people around you, I think eventually everything will work out.
100%.
Like if you're doing bad shit, and
bad shit's gonna come.
It's gonna come back to you too. That's karma too. That's sowing what you reap. I believe in all that too.
Death is gonna
right?
come.
If they were out there, if he was out there giving people poison radishes, or
bad things would have happened.
Making horses with, I don't know, making them die or something, then I think they would have invited him to the army, or they would have just burned his house down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that would have came back to them. But
This
the
is the
point
life
of the
of the ranch
story is
farmer,
like
bro.
the dad is like, listen, bro, like I don't know, I can't give you, I don't know what to tell you about
Let's do
this.
the best we can, and then.
All right, we'll figure something out. I love that. That's
That's a
awesome.
good one, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. That's a good way to end it.
All right.
So, come back to us. We'll give you the real shit. We're not gonna be
Not bullshitting here.
bullshitting your BS in you. All right. Thanks for listening.